For the next presentation, we're going to go a little bit differently. We're going broadly to East Africa, and representing that region is Andreas. Okay, we're going to talk about what's happening in that space with manufacturing, and we'll play a short video right now to introduce it.
My name is Andres Saldias. I've been working in the apparel industry for 24 years, supporting 29 countries around the globe to export to larger countries like the US and Europe. Today I want to do something different. I don't want to talk about statistics. I want to talk about business. That's what I've been doing for long. I used to run a large operation in Bolivia, where I'm originally from. So my approach is always going to be business. So I decided that today will be even more fun, on top of what we've been seeing the last couple of days, is to present you as you were potential buyers and see if I can convince you to do business with East Africa. At the end, you just tell me, especially my friends from Walmart. So I call it the sleeping, the growing diamond in East Africa, basically because what I've seen is what I want to share. I want to pitch the business approach of any buyer would be looking if deciding to go to these 7 countries in East Africa. And that's basically based on the value chain approach. And I'm going to be sharing what I've seen on the raw materials, on the technology, on the production know-how, the buyers' trust, and the vendor compliance. Those are the main topics that a potential buyer is going to be looking from a business perspective. I want to address each one of them by pictures that I took personally in March, that I was visiting about 25 factories in 5 countries. As far as of the raw materials, probably this is the most important issue. This is the factor that any buyer will be considering, because that means that the country can produce all the materials, all the value chain in a country, and of course that saves not only in cost but also in time. Speed is one of the key factors that buyers are trying to achieve. And what I've seen in Tanzania, in Madagascar, is a tremendous amount of great raw material, cotton basically. Those are pictures from Mauritius. That's me. It's like I found gold. When I found that raw material, which is the mid-side fiber, which is great for knits, high-quality knits, I was so happy to see it because this is gold here. I'm touching gold. I've seen that great technology in A to Z in Tanzania, the factory. In Madagascar, state-of-the-art technology on spinning, on weaving, on dyeing. In Tanzania, I've seen this piece of equipment on the left, which is called the electronic kitchen of colors. That is a piece of equipment that's just itself is $500,000 investments, because it's going to blend the colors in perfection, and it's going to provide exactly the color match, the dye to match that the buyer is trying to achieve based on the trends, on fashion. I've seen great outer stripe machinery, for example. That's a high piece of technology to produce different kind of fabric structures and color blends and mixtures. As far as production know-how, you can go from automatic cutting to manual cutting. I've seen huge established capacities on cutting with state-of-the-art machinery, the electric equipment you can see there, knitting machines that each one is about $700,000 each. Stoll brand, state-of-the-art, made in Germany, already working there. As you can see, the piece in the right side is producing Calvin Klein knitted garments. And you can see how the factory setups, just like the video showed, they are in compliance with everything that's related to emergency exits, lining, lighting conditions. On the left side, I've seen this in Kenya, and also I've seen in Mauritius. It's called the laser sanding technology. I mean, that's state-of-the-art to produce the right effect on the jeans industry, in the denim industry. So every jean is going to be exactly the same. So they surpass the manual functions of doing the sandings, the washing effect, which is key factor in the denim industry, by this piece of technology. On the right hand, you can see technologies to address productivity by factor, by each one of the workers, by line, seeing how many garments a sewer is producing what's the efficiency, and I've seen efficiency from 65 to 85%, which is really nice. I've seen that efficiency in countries like Bangladesh or China, so East Africa really is moving forward to improve their efficiency with support technology and know-how. Another factor on the value chain is buyer's trust. That is basically related, why would a buyer would source from Africa? And I've seen already great brands, high-end brands, like I've seen show in the pictures, Calvin Klein briefs, t-shirts from Nautica. The children plays very strong in East Africa. Tommy Hilfiger also already in East Africa. And of course, you can see Walmart, picture that I took there, Kohl's department stores, Gloria Vanderbilt. So there are already major US buyers. And why they come? Because they are seeing this value chain as working effectively. And one of the most important factors is the product development capabilities. One factory in Madagascar can produce all kind of prints with state-of-the-art technologies, and also quality control systems. And mainly, one of the other last factor is the vendor compliance factor, which means how well they treat the employees, what are the ethical treatments. And you can see canteens of people with food paid by the companies. You can see soccer stadiums. You can see the transportation being provided, and even a university to train the workers. You can see in the middle, for example, a canteen with Kenyan racers, runners, that are inspiring the people and the workers to see we are the number one, we are winners. You can see children's places while the workers are in the sewing machines, they are well taken care of. So this is the competitiveness value chain, which is basically the AGOA, the real alternative against Asia and other competitors, is called the collaborative sourcing. There are competitive lead times, there is response time to the market, there's competitive prices not only related to the labor, there's productivity, there's just-in-time deliveries, service, service, and service. So that's the mindset of these factories. And as you can see, the exports are showing a growth for the last 5 to 10 years. And this is due that East African businessmen are already working, are already adapting to the trends of the global economy. That's what I wanted to share. I hope share with you. I hope I can have the opportunity to see, to talk to any potential interest on learning more about these factories. Thank you so much.
Kenya is sub-Saharan Africa's biggest producer of apparel, and AGOA is at the heart of that industry. The African Growth and Opportunity Act waives tariffs on nearly 7,000 goods exported to the United States, and in 2015, it was extended for 10 more years. USAID, through the East Africa Trade and Investment Hub, is working closely with the cotton, apparel, and textile industry in East Africa to address the binding constraints limiting growth, identified as trade policy issues, workforce development, and social welfare and safety standards. The Hub will address these constraints through its Cotton, Textile, and Apparel Industry Expansion Initiative, which aims to create 45,000 jobs in the region in the next 3 years. The initiative will start in Kenya.
Kenya has actually been one of the most forward-leaning East African countries. When we were introducing AGOA, it was first in and adopting the policies required under AGOA. We've already seen $400 million in exports from Kenya since 2015 when the AGOA expansion came through. In addition, we are seeing one of the most creative and active workforces being developed and created here. And it happens to be the center of USAID's Trade and Investment Hub. So we see a lot of opportunity in Kenya, both with the workforce and with the willingness of the government, and I think a lot of creativity with the partners and the companies that are engaged here.
The 10-year AGOA renewal has seen a massive surge in exports and investment here, and the government has also stepped up its support to manufacturers and investment in infrastructure.
The thing that we focused on in the last 3 years as government is actually to try and address the issue around cost of doing business in Kenya. And it's for that reason that we have transformed the port of Mombasa. That port is today 3 times in terms of capacity more than it was about 3-4 years ago. Number 2, we have made significant investments in linking East Africa through the standard gauge railway line. And, infrastructure in roads, in airports, these are all things geared towards making the cost of doing business much, much more affordable and easier than it has been before.
Following AGOA passage in 2000, Global Apparel was the first company to set up in an export processing zone just outside Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Managing Director Narain Shadpuri is proud of being the elder on the AGOA block.
Government is also trying to induce companies that can probably put textile industries here. And once that happens, and Kenya in particular will be one of the leading exporters from Africa. Kenya as it is today is the biggest exporter. That biggest is very small though, but that can expand. So come to Kenya, you'll be looked after well, and the quality garments can be produced here.
In 15 years of operation, the industry has undergone unprecedented shifts in their capacity to respond to consumers' concerns for the social welfare and safety of those individuals making their clothes while maintaining quality product. Pankaj Bedi heads United Aryan Limited, a company that employs 10,000 people in a neighborhood that has been transformed because of job creation.
This industry can really create good jobs, and at the same time we can have exports and create forex also. So it has dual benefit for the government. They can see that how many jobs we can create if we compare with, let's say, Bangladesh. Bangladesh has 5 million direct jobs. So if we get even 10% of that, it's big for us. So now the government has also initiated training of workers, developing skills. We as a company also do that. So I think the whole idea is evolving. Government is getting connected. They have given a lot of other supports also. They are planning to give energy support. So at least they are listening. They are modifying their policies as per the requirement of that particular industry.
Today we do about $415 million worth of exports. We would like in the next 3 years to be able to exceed the $1 billion mark. And so we've got a short window at the beginning of the 10-year period to actually bring more investors. And we are doing this not on our own, but really with a lot of support from different players, including the Hub, which has been extremely helpful. So I think we listen, we do what we need to do to make it possible. And along the way, hopefully not in too distant future, we should be able to see a win-win situation for the government in attracting investors and for investors making one of the best investment decisions in getting appropriate returns out of Kenya.